little bit of a different style of episode today. The first half of this video, I am going to film right before class. I have about 15 minutes until our class starts. And so I have a timer to cut me off. That way I'm not actually entering our class late. However, I'm going to film the second half of this video about halfway through class. We usually take a 10-minute break, and to be honest, I always wanted to chat with somebody, but I'm not there in person, so it's not as easy to have little chit-chat side conversations when you are remote. And so that kind of brings me to the theme of today's video, which is collaboration in a PhD program, as well as networking, really how to be a people's person when you are in a PhD program. And in my context, I am not just a student, but I'm a remote student, right? So there's an additional barrier there to collaboration, right? But before I talk about what I do, I kind of want to touch on one of the reasons why I think collaboration is so important. We've talked about in our class, and specifically some of the readings that have come up this week have been about your research network, right? And so this concept of who are the people that you can go to, not just to extract information from, but honestly to just talk to about current research ideas that you have, future projects you'd like to do, to consider, ethical implications, funding opportunities, people who might have scholarly sources to share with you that's going to help you deepen your understanding of certain research topics, right? So really having a community is important as a scholar, and I think that's honestly one of my favorite parts about being in a PhD program. It was a big reason why I decided to do a PhD program, was because I wanted to find my community within academia, and I wanted to be able to connect with other researchers who were thinking about the same things that I was thinking about. So that said, some of the challenges being remote, I'm connecting with people only online, right? And that means through email, through Zoom meetings. Thankfully, we do have live synchronous sessions in the Texas Tech Technical Communication and Rhetoric PhD program. So I'm able to actually speak with my classmates at least once weekly. And our professor for research methods puts us in breakout rooms, which helps even further because then I can chit chat with them more in depth about different topics when we're in those breakouts. That said, I do think that I have been very lucky to have formed the relationships I have formed because not only do I have a good rapport, but shout out to my research partner. I have a friend in the program, somebody who reached out to me early on and asked if I would be interested in collaborating on a journal publication. And I'll be honest, my first instinct was oh, I've got a lot on my plate. I don't know if I have time for that. But my dad always will say, which I don't know where he got this because he does not work in academia at all, but he'll say, oh, it's publish or perish, right? And so the idea of I need to start working on publication was already there. And the fact that somebody is reaching out to me, I am so much better when I work in a team just because it holds me accountable. It gives me that venue for brainstorming ideas. And this person, very nice person in my class, who always appreciate their energy. So I'm okay, you know what? Yeah, let's collaborate on this. Why not? And that's been a great experience so far. We're actually submitting that proposal next week from when I'm filming this. So it'll be November 1st that it's due. And it will be on multimodal user experience writing pedagogy. I know that that's such a word salad of keywords, and generative AI. So how do people use in generative AI like ChatGPT in classrooms that deal with multimodal writing? And so multimodal writing is for example, this video is multimodal composition because it's using multiple modes of communication, like visual as well as audio. And the user experience side of things is, designing things in a way with the user in mind. So like for me, my viewer in mind whenever I'm filming. So that's kind of what we're working on, but there's no way I would have been able to do this on my own. So I think that kind of gets at the core of why collaboration is so important, because we can really lift each other up and support each other. At the same time, me and this classmate have discussed how both of us have had very poor experiences with group projects in the past, and like trying to collaborate with other people on research, and how it can get really competitive and weird. And then it's like somebody almost wants to either dominate the project or they don't want to do any of the work. And so that in itself can be a challenge. But I mean, there's no reward without a risk, right? So I think that's a risk I'm willing to take, and I'm willing to take it again and again, like somebody doesn't like me, we don't get along, or, the project doesn't go well, whatever. But if I am able to find somebody that can become a solid foundation of my research network, I think that's a really amazing thing. And so I would really encourage anybody who has had a bad experience with group projects or collaborative work, to, keep pushing yourself to try again, because eventually you will find your people. Now I'm checking the time because I'm talking a mile a minute. Okay, I'm actually doing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. And maybe it's the power of this. This is a crochet Goomba that my best friend, shout out Steffo, gave to me. She got it at an arcade expo in Houston. I think it was last weekend or maybe the weekend before that. Anyway, she got it. It's handmade by an artist. I'm so sorry, I don't know the artist's name, but look at these little feet. They're kind of amazing. So just talking about how people in your life can bring you joy. I think beyond being like a research partner, somebody can be a friend, right? And I think that's something that has been continually stressed to us by a lot of our guest speakers, and even the articles we read in our class is like going beyond thinking of people in terms of like what they can offer you and what they can give you, like tangibly or materialistically, but more so, forming real human connections with people. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And I love that about my program and my discipline, that that's the way that people think in technical communication and rhetoric, because that's the kind of thing that I want to do, is just form real connections with people and to understand other people and to be understood. So I think that is honestly the goal here. Again, like I said, one of the challenges is being remote. It can feel really lonely and disconnected. I try to stay really active in my classes, not only the text chat, but I'll also unmute and speak whenever it's appropriate to. Honestly, I know from the teacher perspective, it's better off to have like way too talkative students versus to have nobody saying anything. You feel like you're bombing as an instructor. So I try to contribute as much as I can without like completely dominating discussion. So a trick for that is I just wait a good 5 seconds. Like I'll just count 5 seconds in my head to see if anybody else wants to speak. If not, then I'll jump in. And that's just as somebody who constantly feels like I have something to say. Now, that said, for people who don't feel like they have something to say, maybe try writing down your thoughts in notes, and that might help you feel like you're more prepared to speak, right? That's something that helps me as well if I'm just trying to synthesize and understand the discussion before jumping in myself. So that's a couple of tricks for people who might feel a little bit more shy when they're remote. I use a lot of reactions, emojis, things like that. I feel like it communicates personality. Going back to like my last video on perfectionism and like how you're perceived, I try to be as authentic as possible because again, that's how I'm gonna find my people. And so yeah, I think, oh my gosh, just based on this one, data point that I have of this one semester, I feel like I'm doing a good job of it so far. we'll see. Another thing that's come up is that I've been offered an opportunity for networking in the workspace that is going to conflict with school. Now, I reached out to my professor and I asked, for some feedback on what should I do in this situation, because I would love to meet with some of these people and learn more about what they're doing and, potentially build some long-term, right, partnerships and friendships, right, that could be beneficial to my research in the future, or just, be somebody that I can call upon later on, right, whether it's for career, school, whatever. So it seems like a good networking opportunity, but then I would have to miss a day of class. And then that's like, I don't want to disrespect, obviously a big part of my network is going to be my professors from Texas Tech. So there's like a level of negotiation and guidance that, I'd like to have from my professor. So hopefully there's no offense taken for me just reaching out and asking for thoughts on this situation, because it's genuinely something that's very new to me to understand. Yes, school is my number one priority. And at the same time, okay, this is something that in a tangential way kind of supports what I'm doing with school. So how do I reconcile that, right? Trying to understand that, because in a lot of PhD programs, they don't want you to ever miss a single class if you don't have to, right? Much more so than a master's or a bachelor's program. So yeah, lots of learning to do, but I'm excited to be making some more of these connections. Okay, I am going to call it there. And
one eternity later.
Okay, so clearly it is not the same day as whenever I filmed the first half of this video. Silly me that I really thought that I was gonna get my stuff together within that like 10-15 minute period that we take a break to actually film a video instead of taking a break like I need to. So I am living here not like a day later, not a week later. I think it's like a week and a half. A lot has happened, but I just kind of had to take a week to myself because I was getting stressed and pressed. So hopefully everybody is okay with the delay, but here I am. And the topic at hand, I recall, was collaboration. So I had a few more things that I wanted to talk about that. First of all, I remember writing down a note like that said guest speakers when I was in class that day, because my professor brings in a lot of guest speakers in our class. And one of the things that those guest speakers and him will always have a moment is like, oh yeah, we know each other outside of this from XYZ thing. Either they went to school together, or they're in some sort of like society together, or they met at a conference or something like that, and they just formed a genuine friendship. And so, he's pulling in people that he genuinely knows. He likes their work that they do, and he supports them, and he's like, I think this is a good person for y'all to meet and hear their perspective. So I think that's another cool thing, that like if you are like down the line, like networking, it's not only that benefit like that they can give you for your career, but it's also just to be honest, like such a cool thing to be able to support each other and be able to share each other's work over the years when you form like a genuine friendship with somebody. And that's something I've even seen in my friendships, like in life, where you know of a job opening that fits one of your friends very closely, and you're like, oh, I know somebody who's super qualified and also they're great. And so I think it's just cool to like know a bunch of people in that way, and to be able to like lift each other up and recommend their perspective or their point of view to others in the way that our professor does with his guest speakers. So yeah, I don't know. I think that is something that, if I'm to teach in the future, I would really like to do something like that too. So I just think about like, envisioning, like bringing in one of my classmates. I don't know. It's so cool to think about. Speaking of classmates, so I think I did mention before that me and a classmate have been working on a proposal for a CFP. We did submit it on did we submit it on Halloween Day? I think we might have, because it was originally due November 1st, and then they had delayed like the submission time. But we were like, oh, we're already done with it. Let's go ahead and just submit. So yeah, we submitted our proposal. So fingers crossed, everyone. Hopefully we get in. But he and I both agreed, like, if we don't get accepted by this journal to write this article, then we're just gonna, see if there's anybody else who wants to pick us up on, this topic, because we've done a lot of research on it. We're both very interested in it. I think both of us would like to do an IRB approved study if we can as well. So I think that would be really cool if we could get something going. But yeah, other than that, I think it's just been cool, like forming a friendship with somebody in my program, and it just makes me think like, oh, I look forward to meeting everybody next year, because once a year we're gonna all meet up together in Lubbock as part of the program. And so I just think it's gonna be so cool to like see all the people that I've gotten to know so far. And then too, like next semester, I'm gonna be taking a class then, and so I'll meet even more people and have a different professor even. And so I don't know, I'm just excited. I feel like school has been going really well this semester. It's not that it doesn't take work, or it's not that like it doesn't take time out of my life, but it's been very fulfilling. I think that's like all of the energy spent towards school feels like energy well spent. It feels like I know why I'm doing it. I'm excited about it. So yeah, I think like the collaboration aspect of it is like just an additional layer that contributes to it. Aside from that, I do want to talk about, well, there is a book that I was reading a while back, and it's called B by Jessica Zweig. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. And I'll put a link to it in the caption. Mercy, please remind me. But one of the things that book recommended was if you can find a mentor in your life, like somebody who you feel like can help keep you accountable to your goals, that can be really useful to just set up, a regular meeting with that person. They can be a mentor, they can be a collaborator, they can be honestly just a colleague who gives you perspective in the area that you need it in, like if you're trying to develop something about yourself. So for me at that time, I set up regular meetings with, at the time she was my supervisor at the writing center. And so my friend, and director of the writing center, we would, go and meet up once a month. We would have a brunch, and it was kind of our brainstorming brunch, and we would talk about like our goals, career, school-wise, things that we wanted to do, projects we were working on. And eventually, honestly, it just devolved into us just getting brunch and catching up. Though like both of us are very career and school motivated, so like we would also discuss those things just naturally. But it was just such a cool thing, and it definitely brought us closer. And I would say, like, I highly recommend that to anybody who is looking for a way to kind of connect with other people who are going to inspire you and give you good feedback and, create some aspiration for you. I would say like connect with somebody who maybe you have a friendship with them, but it's like you have a lot of respect for them and what they're doing, like and you feel like that they can give you feedback on what you need feedback on. And that can be in any area, right? So like I'm in this doctoral program for technical communication and rhetoric, in a big part because of that person, who I would have those monthly brunches with. did this same exact program before I did. And so when I was looking at PhD programs, I had so much information about this program that I knew that it was going to align very well with some of the things that I wanted to do. And so that was a big deciding factor, was having that understanding going in of what it would look like. And so yeah, just if you can find somebody who is open to like regular, like again, once a month is a good time frame, because it gives you time to like talk about some goals and get some feedback on what you've been doing, and then like go and move on and try to implement those things, and then come back and like tell them about it later. But yeah, somebody who you feel like would be an inspiration to you, somebody who you, again, just like their way of thinking, and you find it motivating when you talk to that person. It can be really helpful to schedule regular meetups with that person. And I love brunch because it's so like chill, it's fun, and I like going to different places. So we would always say like, oh, let's just alternate on like who picks the place. But you don't have to do that. You can go to the same time, same place, same day, like every month or whatever, like whatever makes the most sense to you and that person. Just talk about it with them. So I highly recommend that. It worked out really well for me. Another thing is like, I mean, I have created this whole channel in collaboration with one of my best friends, Mercy, who's my video editor. We're constantly challenging each other creatively and encouraging each other creatively, because one person will be doing something, like for example, she's been working on her portfolio for the past couple of months, and that's been making me think, I need to update my portfolio. I have like a website that I'm like, it just has the bare minimum, so I need to continue adding to it and keep it up to date, because you know that's the way that I connect with other people. So just things like that, you know, having people in your life who not only like you see at a mentor level, but just like on a peer level, that you know you feel you can almost, like me and Mercy will joke we're each other's rivals, you know, like we're always trying to outdo each other. And it's very much that, like the if you like Pokemon, obviously I'm a video game nerd, like Ash and Gary, or like Red and Blue, like that idea of having a rival is somebody who you're both interested in the same things, and they challenge you to just be that much better, because you know you're really you're like, at least for me, I'm very competitive. I always joke like I'm very competitive, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm always good at things that I do. But I like to win, right? Like who doesn't like to win? And so it just feels so good. And like for me and Mercy, it's a very like, how to say, like I say rivalry, but it's in the best way, because we both want the best for each other. We're both very supportive of each other, and we love to not only win ourselves, but we also love to see the other person win. So like I think if you can really find people in your life who inspire you in that way, who are both supportive, but they also challenge you, I think that is just honestly the sauce for self-growth, because I have so many people in my life who are one or the other. Either they challenge me a lot, but they can kind of be critical, or you know, they're very supportive, but it can almost be like to the point, like to a fault of how to say, like of enabling me whenever I am either making bad choices, or when I am kind of caught in a malaise and I'm being stagnant with myself. They I think there can be some times like a point where you need somebody to come in and like be like, you know, yes, you're amazing, yes, you're great, and like, you know, did you take a walk today? Like if you're in this mood, like, you know. And so I think that's what Mercy has always been for me in our friendship. I love her for that. Love you, Mercy, shout out. And I hope that I'm that for her too. I think there is nothing better than when you can find that mix in a person, of somebody who, like I said, is supportive, but they also challenge you. in a healthy way. And that looks different for everyone, but like I said, the rivalry is what it is for me and Mercy. So it comes out the most in Mario Kart, but I mean, I even made Animal Crossing competitive the other night, I'm not gonna lie. That said, I think those are most of my thoughts on collaboration. I think it's honestly like the cornerstone of everything I do, just to be kind of like cheesy about it. I really feel that my background working in writing centers too has made me this way, to be as collaborative as I am, because being a peer writing consultant is inherently a collaborative relationship with your client who is the writer. And so there's definitely like a push and a pull. And then, I progressed into being an executive writing consultant at a consulting firm, for a couple of years. And so at that point, I had really honed in, okay, this consulting relationship, right, is that to where, the sum is, the whole is more than the sum of its parts, right? And I think that's the beauty of collaboration. It's something that I want to keep doing for the rest of my career. I think, beyond school, in my career, I always am going to be seeking out these opportunities to uplift other people. And I hope you do too. It is easy to be shy. It's easy to hide yourself. I think that social media presence is one way that I put myself out there to connect with other people, because I can be shy too. I mean, I know I don't come across that way. And like, if you're one of my friends or you're in one of my classes, you're probably like, no, you're not shy. Like, stop it. But no, like, I mean, I feel the same things that everybody else does in terms of like nerves about speaking up in a situation, or about reaching out to somebody I've never talked to before. I feel the same insecurities that everybody else does about like, did I talk too much, or did I say something stupid, or, is it my place to be, trying to connect with this person or whatever. I feel all those ways. And I think it's just a natural fear of like loneliness or disconnection that can create those like patterns of thinking where you start to almost get nervous that you're going to be rejected. And so you just like, a lot of people will just stop themselves from reaching out. And so for me, I've learned to kind of like just push through that fear, because almost everybody that I talk to is very nice. And I guess that's kind of the easiest way to say it, but I really mean it, that there are not that many cruel people in the world. And I say that having worked customer service for a long time in retail and food service. Like, trust me, I have seen people at their lowest when they're just taking out their day on you without even knowing you. And I will still say that the vast majority of people are kind. They're nice, they're respectful, and it is worth it. It is worth it to try to make connections, to be open to talking to other people and getting to know them. Obviously, it's something I value a lot, my personal relationships, but I think that every person is so unique and beautiful in just different ways. And so I just get so excited about getting to know new people, because they just surprise you and they give you so much perspective, like that. It's just different, right? Every person is so different. And I think that's what's so cool is like, you can find two, rocks that look the same, or you can find two books that were printed the same, but there's no two people who are the same. Okay, I am ranting now. But I just was having so much fun talking about people and collaborating, because it is something I care about a lot. That said, if anybody is watching this and you're interested in collaborating, you want to work together on a proposal for a journal article or a conference presentation, or honestly, if you just want feedback on like a project you're working on, if it's something that you think I might be able to give you feedback on, I mean, pretty much, y'all know me, like my interests are writing, education, technology. So if you're writing about something in that sphere and you just want like a friend to look over something, you know, give you like their opinion of it. Like I said, like I used to work in writing centers and be a consultant for so long, and it's something I love to do, and I'm happy to help. So that said, like watch, it's like 10 years later and somebody is watching this video and then they send me an email and oh my gosh, okay, I'm being silly now. But yeah, no, my email is open. It is on my YouTube page, I believe. But just in case, Mercy, if you can like put it right there underneath my face right now, it should be collab.angiephd@gmail.com. That should be my email. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you made it this far, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm actually keeping up with this channel. I mean, I can and I can't. I think it was a challenge for myself where I was like, I want to do a video a week, but even having missed a week, I still feel good about, you know, what I'm putting together, because I feel like I'm not sacrificing the quality here. And quality in the sense of like, I'm not pushing myself to talk on film when I really am not feeling it. I think I want to bring my energy to this channel in a way that is authentic to myself. So if I show up on a day where I'm not feeling good, I will talk about how I'm not feeling good. But today I'm feeling pretty good. All right. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.